Hey everybody, it's Madmaxed with another raid video, and today we're going to go over the basics of clan boss team. So I'm trying to help you develop a better clan boss team in case you're not getting the damage that you want to get on clan boss. Now, the reason you want to get your damage up on clan boss is because there are very few places you can get legendary books, and there are very few places you can get legendary shards. So you got to go to Nightmare at the very least, and you look. If you get the last chest, you're going to get a chance of getting a shard and a chance of getting at least, you have a chance of getting a legendary book for your champs. And you may get an epic, a few gems, some coins, all that. Now, so you got to do over 39 million points on Ultra Nightmare. On Nightmare. On Ultra Nightmare, you've got to do over 75. You got to do over 70 mil. Now, Ultra Nightmare is extremely hard to do for that kind of points for most people. So, and it's the only one that's going to give you the legendary book or the epic book. Because you go up here to the celestial chest, you still don't have a chance of getting it. There are only two possibilities. Either you're going to have to do Nightmare or you're going to have to do Ultra Nightmare, and you're going to have to get enough damage to get the last chest. Now, a lot of people struggle doing, 5, 10 mil out of Nightmare, and that's really not that hard to get. You're going to have to, as a start-out player, you're not going to do that. But you need to learn your team composition. And the composition of the team can make all the difference in the world. Now, if you look, mine has Bad-el, and he's the lead. Then you've got Arbiter, and you've got Skull Crusher, you've got Valiant, and you've got Ninja. Now, Ninja was given to you for free if you played back a few months ago. Ninja is the best clan boss damage dealer in the game. Valiant has some of the best debuffs in the game for it. Skull Crusher is one of only 3 that gives you counterattack. So it's going to give you sometimes when he does the AoE, so if you've got the counters up, you're going to get an extra hit in. And it's the basic hit, but it's not the good one, but it's still going to help you. Now, Arbiter's, all she's going to do is she's going to increase up the attack damage. So he's going to increase the attack damage of Valiant, from Ninja, and from Bad-el. Now, Skull Crusher is a defensive guy. So if you're using all defensive players, somebody like Arbiter is not going to help you with your damage at all, because all she does, she has that increased attack. So if you want your defensive guys to do more damage, and you're using all defenses so you can last longer, you want a guy that does increased defense. Now, that's somebody like Black Knight. If you look at Black Knight, if you're going to use all defenders, which they'll last longer, you're going to have to go in and you're going to have to use somebody like him. Because if you look at his skill, he has the skill where he has, once he's booked out, it's 2 turns on a 2-turn cooldown. He does a continuous heal and he does increased defense. And his increased defense is 60%. So if you're using him, another defensive guy like Blood Twin, and another defensive guy like the Unbowed, they're all defensive guys. All their skills are based on their defense. So the more defense you've got, the more damage they're going to do. So you've got 4,000 defense here almost, or 3,500. So what that's saying is, with Black Knight in the character, if you go in and look, just him, that's going from 3,500 defense, that's going to give you that 60% extra. So now he's got 5,600 defense. And this doesn't have the best gear I've got. I just finally finished getting this one to 60, and I haven't developed this gear out. Now, but I'm not using defense guys. I mean, defense guys are only going to do about 100K damage a pop. And they're not going to damage, I mean, even though they'll last longer, and I mean, you may go 40 rounds. I mean, I can put a group in here that will go 40-something rounds, that's all defensive. But I can take my attack guys in here, and I can go 32, 33 rounds, and I'll get more damage because they are attack based, and I do have like Ninja in here that's got some pretty decent gear. So when you're looking at doing a clan boss, you have to understand that clan boss, after the 20th round of Nightmare, is doing an incredible amount of damage. You really need like a lot of armor, I mean a lot of defensive armor on everybody, which it's hard to get that. I mean, when you're talking about an attack guy, well, you can only get so much defense, and you're going to have to either strip away the HP, you're going to have to strip away the attack. Now, Ninja will last a little bit longer because of his skill, where he has Halberd, because this veils him. And I mean, and he's got on Relentless, so he gets extra attack slots. So he's usually veiled up. And Veil gives you 15% less damage by being under the veil, under that perfect veil that he throws. And that's going to help him out a lot because he's not going to be the stun target. He's just going to get the AoE attacks. Now, a lot of people, they like to go with lifesteal gear because they'll do the damage with it and they'll get the heals in. But Bad-el literally gives me enough heals. I don't need lifesteal. He heals what lifesteal is going to give you. And if you're stunned, you're not going to get anything from the lifesteal because you didn't hit anything anyway. What you're really looking for to last a little bit longer is you want stalwart gear on. I mean, now she doesn't have it, but it's because I use her in arena and I'm using speed gear. But like when you look at, and then Bad-el has reflex gear on. Why? Because he only has Dark Spirit. It doesn't do much damage. So you put him in lifesteal gear, it's just a waste because his Dark Spirit is not going to attack for any kind of damage much. Where his damage comes in is on this poison. And it's that 2-turn poison. You got 2 turn poisons and 2 of them that he puts on. It's on a 3-turn cooldown, but with reflex, it's a lot quicker than that. Sometimes it's like he'll go with it, go again. Sometimes he'll go, he'll want the next time, but the time after that he goes. So he'll stack poison up pretty well on it. Now, when you go through and you look at like different compositions and stuff, I mean, like Skull Crusher, you look at his artifact sets and yeah, I've got him fairly fast. I would really rather have a stalwart gear on that would give him this kind of speed. But you got to get the speed up for him to have those counters up when you need it. And so the speed tuning a team is extremely important for this. Because you want the debuffs up and you want the buffs up at the right time. If you don't have them up at the right time, they're not going to do as well. And it depends on the colors too, or how much damage you're going to do. So a lot of people will go in and if you look at a lot of my guys I used to use, I mean, they got a lot of them have the old stuff on, but some of them, like this one, it's got a stalwart set on. I used to use it for that. I used to use him in my clan boss team just because he would up the defense so well. Now, I took him out because I found I could get a little bit more damage by putting Arbiter in and getting that 50% increased attack bonus. And, even though with him in, my team lasts a lot longer, it doesn't make up for that 50% extra attack that Arbiter throws, plus also the revives that she does. Because when you're starting to lose people, it's not helping you any in Clan Boss. Now, Thayan is in a stalwart set. And, but I've got her speed up where it needs to go. It's up to 248. And she's probably the best support character in the game. And the reason you want the 248 speed is so look at her skills and what you want up. You always want up that decrease attack. That's what I prioritize on her. Now, when she goes to the wrong color, she actually doesn't even have enough accuracy for that. And she's got 242 accuracy. But you lose 30% when you're against the wrong color. So, she loses a lot of accuracy when she's against the ones that are blue. Now, when it doesn't stick, you're not going to do as much damage because you're not going to last as long because she cuts down 60% of the attacks. And she also does the decreased defense and the weaken. And that doubles your attack. I mean, she's one of the best things you can have in clan boss. And, she was free a few months ago, which they gave her away just for a promo code. Now, that's what you're looking for because clan boss and nightmare doing major, major damage to you. And, and it doesn't matter how much, and she does a pretty good bit of damage with her hit. But, what difference does it make if she's dead? She can't heal herself if she dies. So, this keeps her alive a lot longer because 2 out of 3 times clan boss is doing an AoE attack. So this cuts down 30% of that damage. So 30% less damage, and plus that skill that she has that's cutting down 60% of the attack damage, that's huge. That's a huge amount of damage that she's not receiving. In the meantime, you've got Bad-el sitting here and healing her. And Bad-el is giving you a 215%. So, and sometimes it stacks 4 stacks of that on you. So you're healing for 60%. Well, 60% of your health, well, she's only got 24,000. But now with lifesteal, you're only getting 30% of whatever your damage is. So if Bad-el is stacking you up between 30 and 60% of your health that she needs healing for every round, that means that, you're getting anywhere between 10 and 20,000 hit points. Now, to be able to get that from lifesteal gear, to get 30% of that, that means that she's going to have to be doing 80, 90K at the very least every round. She can't get stunned. She can't get stunned because if you get stunned, that's it. You didn't make any heals from it because, there wasn't no hits. All right. So when you go in and you look at not dungeon, but the clan boss, and you look like at the groups that I got 72 mil, and that's kind of low for the first 2 keys. Usually I have one that just got killed quick. I don't know why. I mean, it just probably got out of sync into the wrong speed. But when you go in and you look at what these guys do, they work together as a group. And that's what you want when you're looking at clan boss. You've got to get the group to work together. And, the first thing that happens is, you've got the reflex up. And you've got the counterattacks up. So when he goes in and he throws this, everybody gets another shot for free. And you look, and the first thing I did, I prioritized this. I got the decrease attack up right off the bat. Now she's so fast, she's going to go 3 turns to his 2. So she'll have that back up by the time it wears out. And that's what you want. You want it to go back up every time. See, we got it back up again. We've got that decreased attack up. So these guys are taking 60% less damage from the clan boss. Now, then these are on the weaken and the drop defense are 3 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. So you don't need quite as much speed for that. But because you got the speed so fast, you don't care because you've got, you know it's going to be up. Whereas when you go in and you do when you do this, you realize, if I can get something that's on a three-turn cooldown, and it only lasts 2 turns, if I can get them fast enough to go through that, then the four turns cooldown for a 3-turn item is always going to be up 2. Now, she poisons, Bad-el poisons, and the poisons stay up because of that most of the time. And, and the poisons help with the clan boss. There are only 2 things that you can really use against clan boss. That's the HP burn and the poison. Well, HP burn doesn't stack. So the only HP burn you're going to get and you need is off of Ninja himself. Now you watch Ninja, and Ninja's going to get extra hits a lot of time. And that's from the relentless gear that's on him. So, it's all about how you put your guys together and how you make them together. I mean, we're already over 7 mil, and we haven't been on the 7th turn. And Ninja will scale as he goes through. He'll start scaling up where he does 100% more attack. He does 25% more crit damage. So his damage is going to go up like crazy. Around the 10th or 11th turn, his damage is like double what it was when we started out in this thing. And when you go in, all Arbiter is just tanked. I mean, she doesn't do much damage. She is there just for that increased attack for Ninja and for Bad-el and for Fayan. And Fayan just did 120k worth of damage off of that hit. And, she's a good hitter, but she's tanked out. And the reason she's tanked out because you want the speed and you want her tanked out where she does all those debuffs all the time. And you have to get those debuffs up. And, because you can go a lot more rounds. I mean, if I die at the 20th round or the 21st round, I'm not going to do near the amount of damage I do if I go 30-something rounds. And he's red, so it's not going to be the one against Fayan. Who's going to drop out first a lot of times is going to be Ninja because he's blue. And nobody else has the different affinity. It's only Ninja. But the good thing about Ninja is because he's failed up, now he would be the stun target because he's the wrong affinity. But because he's veiled, he can't be the stun target when he's veiled. So he's not going to get out of that thing with that relentless gear on a lot of times. I mean, it'll be very rare that he ever comes up where he's the stun target. And if he does get to be the stun target, then that's what Arbiter kicks in. She kicks in and she picks him back up. But it's a harmony of the group that you have to look for. And I mean, this isn't the best clan boss team in the world, but it's what I've got to work with. And unless you're pumping hundreds and hundreds of dollars into this game to get all the champs that you want, you're going to have to work with what you have. And I mean, before I had Arbiter, I was using Black Knight in this because he was keeping them alive longer, but I wasn't doing as much damage because I didn't have somebody to pick them up, and I didn't have somebody to sit down and do the increased attack. Plus, that increased attack, when their health is low, it heals them up quite a bit. It's like 30% of a heal. So it makes a big difference, just even that in the game. I mean, because once he gets past 20, he's going to do a lot of damage. You'll see the damage pick up. Once you get to, and I've taken this same bunch in on hard, and I have done like, I've taken the same bunch in, and I have one on hard, and I've went 75 rounds or 80 rounds on hard for this. And I've done an amazing amount of damage. I mean, we're talking about 80, 90 mil worth of damage out of this bunch. Now, the problem you get after 50 is if you die, you're dead. Nobody can res you at that. See, we're already up to 21 mil. We haven't even been, and we're on the turn count of 18 on this. And you see how well these guys go together. I mean, over 1 million points at a time is a good bit. I see Ninja died, but it's okay because Arbiter will pick them back up here in a second. And, she's out of the, and then, usually sometimes at this, I'll just sit down and I'll just turn on the manual and manual it for a little bit. But see, now you had the counter up. And then, so everybody got a turn from that. And then, and you don't, when you're resing somebody after 25 or 20 or so, you don't really care about having them res when they're not going to have a big boost to their turn meter too. I mean, like right now, it's not a great time to even do this because you see how close he is to taking another turn. Well, if he takes another turn and Ninja's up, but he didn't get a turn, he's probably going to die. So, you can actually go in and tweak it a little bit manually when they die like this, when they're not into the void part, because this is kind of set for the void. So now you can just turn it back on auto again, because he's going to get his turn in now. And see, now he's back to where he's veiled again, so he's not the target for the turn meter. And then everybody had up the counter again. Everybody gets to hit again. And then, yeah, it's not a lot of damage with the A1. But, it's still extra damage. And, and you're only going to get so many turns on the clan boss. Clan boss, and when he gets up to about 35 or so, unless you got an unkillable team on here, or if you have to use, like, you're going to have to use something like an allied protect champ that's really great. And, and those, they don't do as much damage, but they're really good to have on your team because they keep your team alive a lot better. So, but this team, like you look, he's red, and, and this is the second time that, Ninja has died. And Ninja died because of the fact, he's blue and he's weak to the clan boss because the clan boss is red. I mean, affinity makes a big difference in this game. And, and of course, if Ninja were a void, he'd be even better because, then he's got no bad affinity. But that's not what you got, and he is the best nuker in the game for clan balls. There's not another one that's anywhere close to this. So when you go through, you just have to realize, I still want him in here. I mean, I could pull him out and I could put somebody else in that's red, and yeah, it would do pretty well. But it's not going to be. But, they're not going to do as much damage as what he does, even though he's got 30% of his damage cut off. I mean, because he is the wrong affinity for this. But when he's on Void, he's done 30% more damage. So when you get to the end and you look at this, you're going to see the fact that, well, how much damage he did, and I could have added 30% more to his damage. And, and his damage for that other 30% would make several million more points because he's going to be your big damager in this thing. And see, they're still going. They're still surviving. Because like Bad-el didn't have a whole lot of health, but guess what? He's red. He had that counter on, and he also had on that Allied Protect from, he had that Allied Protect on from Skull Crusher. And Skull Crusher's a good one. He's not the best one in the game, but he's still good. But see, now we're up to almost 30 rounds. And you see the damage that you're getting from him at 30 rounds. See, it's a huge amount of damage. So without that with the Allied Protect on, you got a better chance of surviving all this. I mean, it's a huge difference with Allied Protect. See, he got hit with a stun. And it still didn't kill him because he had Allied Protect up. And, but you can't keep it up all the time with Skull Crusher because these guys are as fast as Skull Crusher, so they run through that Allied Protect really quick. And there are some that do it 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. And, when you do that, the neck's going to be up all the time no matter what the speed is. And, and it just makes it a lot easier with the Allied Protect, but I don't And I've got an Allied Protect that has that. But I don't have is the Allied Protect up where it's booked though yet. But I'm planning on probably changing that out once I get the books for it. But see, now, you see how much damage they took. I mean, all at one time. But still, that's a wrong affinity for him, and you still wound up with 36 mil. Probably, and we're still going a little bit, but not a lot. That's still some pretty good damage for this. I mean, you're looking at 37 mil. And, and the color wasn't even right for Ninja. So Ninja did 14 mil. Fagan did 12.5 million points worth of damage. And she's one of the guys that's sitting down and making sure you're doing double damage. I mean, the one that was weak is Arbiter because she's just there for the res and for the increased attack. But, but the increased attack went for these two, which gave them 50% more whenever it was up. So you're looking at, if this had not been the wrong affinity, see, it was the right affinity for Fagan, the wrong affinity for her. So she got 30% more damage. So she would only did about 9 million on Void. But on Void, you add another 30% to him, and he would have did another 4 or 5 more million points worth of damage. So, you're looking at, that's still not some bad numbers. It's what I've got for a team. But a lot of people in my clan, you'll notice they don't do anything close to the amount of damage I do. But it's because their teams don't work together that well. They haven't figured out what they need to put in yet as far as the champions and how to gear their champions up and how to make their champions right. And it takes a while to do this. I mean, it's not something that's quick. I mean, but they've come a long ways. I mean, they've come really far as their damage in the last little bit. But, but this should help anybody that watched the video, change out champions. Try a different one in and try to see if you can't get a little bit more damage by altering them up just a little bit. I mean, it's just like when you go down here, this guy's got really good champ, but the thing is, he doesn't have Fagan in here. You look at these, the top 4 guys in my clan right now that are doing the damage all have Fagan in it. Because Fagan's keeping them alive longer, Fagan's doubling the damage for them. And when you go down in here and you start looking, and it's just because this one it doesn't have the gear. But like when you go down here and start looking, then this guy, he doesn't even have a 50 level people. And so you're looking at the ones that do really well, they usually have Fagan in it because of what she brings to the table. Most of them have, it's just like these guys, they would do better if they would substitute out like, now, Madmaxed is a good champ for a clan boss, but you can actually, as hard as this thing hits, Rotu and Sippy, this is Sippy, and Sippy's good for resin and all that. But if you were to pull this out, this character is not doing you any good. You need to pull this character out, and you probably could put in Ninja and get a lot of extra damage because Ninja's in here. I mean, there are just little tweaks you can do to your clan boss team that can raise up 5, 6 million. And when you're using 3 keys, you can get it down to 2 keys. I don't need but 2 keys to get my best rewards. And that's, that's what you're looking at. You want all those really good rewards. But anyway, that kind of give you an overview of how you should put a clan boss together, what to look for in a clan boss team. I mean, there's actually a legendary version, and I don't have it. There's a legendary version of a champ that does exactly the same thing that Fagan does. I wish I had that one because Fagan is just squishy. So, when you look at Fagan, when she gets into the wrong affinity, she's so squishy. And, and I put 700 defense, and I mean, I've doubled that with armor and stuff. I could easily, if I had like a legendary that has a lot more defense, a lot more hit points, I could take some of this armor that's going in for the extra HP and the extra defense, and it could go into more of my crit damage and my crit rate. I'd do even more damage with her. But I don't have him. And you have to do with what you've got, and that's just the way it is. I mean, in any of this, you know, unless you're one of the guys, I want to pump $100 a week into this game, you know, and I'm a free-to-play player, and I've got a pretty good clan boss team. But it took a while to develop, and you know, but this gives you an idea of how to develop that team along. I mean, when people are sitting down and talking about, oh, you need this champ, you need that champ, you need this. Oh, this is a 100 million point clan boss team. And a lot of times they're on, you know, they'll show you that and they're on hard or something like that. They're not on nightmare. And you know, they'll sit down and they'll say, oh, you need, or you know, if they show you one of the other, oh, you need Brogni, you need this, you need that. Well, you're not going to have all those champs they've got. You're not going to have that 5 set of champs usually, unless you pump, you know, thousands into this game. But you know, but this is to show you how to develop a team that does a good bit of damage without having to pump thousands into it. But I hope y'all found it interesting. I hope you find it useful. I hope it helps you with your clan boss team. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and you know, guys, thanks for watching.